go play with sand. Look at my sand toys.
Wow, which beach are you going to here in Vermont?
Listen, why are we getting so technical?
Oh, I just thought I'd ask because I was thinking maybe we could work on the Sand Art Award.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. We could do that instead of going to the very, very cold beach.
It is still cold this time of year, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. You're rushing the summer.
But I really wanted to go play. Well, maybe I can play in the sandbox later.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Okay,
We can play
sandbox it is.
Sandbox later. All right. Do you want to work on the Sand Art Award, though?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So there's this really cool story in the Bible about two men who are thinking about building homes.
Oh.
And one man...
Did one build it in the country and one in the city?
No.
No, different story.
That's...
I think that's a story about a mouse. City mouse, country mouse.
I don't think that story's in the Bible.
No, it's not.
Yeah. This is a story from the Bible.
Oh, that makes sense. Two men
who are looking for somewhere to build their homes.
Okay.
And one man builds his house on a nice, solid, sturdy rock.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea.
Mm-hmm. And the other man, well, do you want to just watch the video?
Yeah! The suspense is killing me.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Louie, we're going to watch a video.
Stories of the Bible. The parable of the two builders. This is Jesus.
Hey-o!
Who is the Son of God and the Savior of the world. While Jesus was on earth, he taught everyone about God's love and healed people from their sickness. He did many miracles like walking on water.
Oh, hey guys.
And even raised people from the dead.
Wahoo!
One day, as he saw the crowds gathering, Jesus went up to the mountainside and sat down. His disciples gathered around him, and he began to teach them. He asked them, "Why do you keep calling me Lord, Lord, when you don't do what I say?" Anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise.
Hey, I'm gonna build here.
I'm gonna build out there.
All right, suit yourself.
Like a person who builds a house on solid rock.
Oh, yeah.
When the floodwaters rise and break against that house, it stands firm because it was well built.
I'll get it here.
But anyone who hears my teaching and doesn't obey it is foolish.
All right, hey, this is nice.
Like a person who builds a house on sand.
Uh-oh.
When the rains and floods come and the winds beat against that house, it will collapse with a mighty crash. When Jesus had finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed at his teaching.
Whoa! I like that story.
Isn't that a great story?
Wow.
I mean, it's not so good for the guy that built his house on the sand.
No, that is unfortunate.
But the guy who built his house on the rock, his home was able to withstand the storm.
I mean, I've built sandcastles in the sand, and then the tide comes in, and it's just gone.
There it goes. And
why would you choose to build your house on sand?
Well, that is a good question, but he's not the only one who does it. Jesus says that he is the rock, and we want to build...
Oh, so we should build our lives on Jesus.
Right, and that when we don't build our lives on Jesus, then things come crashing down and they fall apart.
Oh.
So I was thinking that maybe we could role play in our families the story about the wise and the foolish builders.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun. My mom will be so excited.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to let her be the wise builder or the foolish builder?
I think she should be the foolish, and then I can laugh at her when our house falls down.
Okay, well, the two of you can sort that one out.
Okay.
But we want to role play that story, and we want you to send us video clips of it.
Yes, I want to see it.
We want to see your building.
Yes.
And we want to see who the wise person was in your house and who the foolish person was.
Yes, I want to see that too.
Okay. So, one of the things that we need to do is we need to find some other verses in the Bible that talk about sand.
Sand in the Bible?
Yeah, did you know that there was sand in the Bible?
No.
There sure is.
Where?
So, in 1 Kings 4:29, God gave Solomon wisdom and very great insight. And it was said that the breadth of his understanding was as
Wait, did you say bread?
breadth.
What does that mean?
It means the width or the vastness or the expanse.
Whoa, okay. That makes
it
more
means a
sense than
lot.
bread.
Yeah. Of his understanding was as measureless as the sand on the seashore.
That's a lot of understanding.
Yeah.
I've been to the beach. There's a lot of sand there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Solomon had better understanding, more understanding than all the sand on the seashore.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you might know this verse, but Genesis 22:17, this is where God is talking to Abraham. And God says, I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand on the seashore.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And you know what? That verse came true. That was a covenant that God had with Abraham.
Wow.
And that a covenant is a special promise between two people that they're going to do what they said they were going to do. And God kept his covenant with Abraham.
Wow, because God always keeps his promises.
He does always
Yeah.
keep his
Yeah.
promises. All right, and then how about Jeremiah 5:22?
What about it?
Well, that one says, should you not fear me, declares the Lord? Should you not tremble in my presence? I made the sand a boundary for the sea, an everlasting barrier that it cannot cross. The waves may roll, but they cannot prevail. They may roar, but they cannot cross it.
Wow. I didn't know it talks so much about sand in the Bible.
Mm-hmm. And this is a really cool verse because you know what? Sometimes the ocean can get really scary.
It can, yeah.
And we think it's just gonna take things out. And sometimes it does take things out.
Yeah,
But it always goes back where it belongs.
that's true. Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
One of my favorite verses about sand is Proverbs 27:3.
Oh, what does it say?
It says this, stones are heavy.
That's true.
And sand weighs a lot.
That's also true.
But letting a foolish person make you angry is a heavier load than both of them.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so it's sometimes easy to let people make you angry, but Proverbs
Yeah.
says that that's a pretty foolish thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's hard on us.
Sometimes my brother picks on me and that makes me angry.
Well, you should think about whether or not it's a good thing to do. There are some things we can do. Do you remember things that we can do to help calm us down when we're kind of trying to think about being angry?
My mom says that I should stop, take a few deep breaths, and count to 10. And then sometimes I pray to Jesus that he helps me control my emotions.
I think those are all really good things
Sometimes
to do.
I have to go talk to my mommy too.
That's a great thing to
Yeah.
do. Sometimes when it gets really hard, talking to our parents is a great idea.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes it's hard for adults to control our emotions too. Sometimes we don't
Really?
always get it right. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So this is a verse not just for kids, this is a verse for adults too.
Whoa.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Well, what else do you think we should do today?
Well, all this talk about sand and the Bible a story that we watched made me think of a song we like to sing in Sabbath school.
Oh yeah, what song is that?
Yeah, maybe the boys and girls can sing with me.
Okay, that would be cool.
Okay, do you guys know the song about the wise man and the foolish man? Yeah, let's sing it. Okay, good. All right, you ready? I'll start it off. Ready? The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock, and the rains came a-tumbling down. Well, the rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up, and the house on the rock stood firm. Well, the foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand, and the rains came a-tumbling down. Well, the rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up, and the house on the sand went splat! I like that song.
It's a pretty fun song.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, we used to just fall onto the ground on the splat
I
part.
know. Yeah, well, I'm
Hard.
having a hard time doing the motions with my beach toys.
Oh. Well, maybe next time I'll just take your beach toys and then we can do the motions together.
Okay.
Do you think the boys and girls did the motions?
I hope so. Did you do the motions? The motions are fun.
Okay. Can you think of anything that we might use sand for in everyday life?
Sandcastles
Sand castles?
with beach toys.
With beach toys?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Anything else?
My sandbox.
Your sandbox?
Yep.
Did you know that they use sand to make glass?
No.
Yeah, so in order to make glass with sand, you have to heat the sand up a little bit.
Whoa.
Yeah, you have to get it to about 3,090 degrees or higher Fahrenheit.
That's hot.
It's really hot.
Whoa.
Or 1,700 degrees Celsius.
Whoa.
But if you can get it that hot, and I recommend not doing that at home, but if you
No.
can get it that hot, you can make glass.
that is really cool.
And you can, when glass is really hot like that, you can mold it into all sorts of beautiful things.
Can we see it?
We probably can.
Oh, that would be cool to watch.
Well, believe it or not, glass is made by taking a bunch of sand and getting it so hot that it melts. It's one of the most amazing things to watch how it's made, because in order to melt sand, you have to use a special type of oven that can get super hot. It's called a furnace or a kiln. Here you can see someone loading some sand into the furnace. Once it gets hot enough, it will melt or become liquid. And when you get something this hot, you can see it glows, just like lava. This isn't lava though, it's molten sand. And as it cools, it will start to look more familiar to you. It becomes solid glass. To make a flat sheet of glass, like you'd use for a window, they melt sand until it's molten. Then they pour it out and roll it into a flat shape like this, and carefully allow it to cool. More fancy objects like a glass vase are even more fun to watch. This involves a special skill called glass blowing. You can see here, it starts with this person taking a big glob of molten sand and getting it on the end of a hollow pipe. Then she blows air into the pipe. You can actually blow a bubble into it, which might end up being the open part of the vase. The molten glass has a similar thickness as honey. They carefully shape it the way they want it and keep turning it and turning it. As it cools, it becomes solid. Artists can make amazing sculptures with glass. Believe it or not, this artist is making a glass swan.
Whoa, that was really cool.
Wasn't
How they
that
were able
cool?
to just mold the glass like that.
That's really,
And-
really fun, huh?
And it's so crazy because you can't see through sand, but then when they melt it down, you can see through it and as glass.
Yeah, you're right. It
Amazing.
changes its chemical properties that way.
Wow.
Pretty cool. Now, there are some other things that we use sand in. We use it in concrete, so in foundations, if they're going to pour concrete, or if you have a brick home, there's sand and bricks.
Oh, wow.
And, well, we haven't talked about it yet, but a little bit later we're going to make some artwork with sand.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. And let's see, they use it sometimes in playgrounds.
Yeah.
Now, this one is kind of interesting. Did you know that the sand temperature can determine the gender of a baby sea turtle?
What? I didn't know that.
So that's kind of important.
I guess so.
So there's all sorts of interesting things that we use sand for.
Wow.
So
That's really neat.
yeah. Let's talk about those crafts that we're going to make, okay?
I love crafts.
Okay, so the first one we're going to make is we're going to make our own colored sand.
Oh, cool.
So you need some salt to do this, and you're going to put salt into a plastic Ziploc bag with one of those zippered tops, okay?
Okay.
And then you're going to put a little bit of food coloring in there, the color that you want your sand to be.
Oh, yes. This sounds like fun already. I can barely contain my excitement. Then what?
And then you're going to mix it all in so the food coloring goes all through the salt.
Okay.
Okay?
Wow.
And then you're going to let it dry. So you got to put it maybe on a cookie sheet or leave the bag open or something, probably overnight.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay.
Or put it in the oven where it's nice and warm. Don't do that without your parents helping you, though.
In a Ziploc bag?
No, on a cookie sheet.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought the bag might melt.
Yeah.
That
don't-
would be
don't-
messy.
Don't put the bag in the oven.
Not a good kind of mess.
Okay.
Nope.
So you can do that with a couple of different colors, and you
Okay.
can make your own sand for our sand art project.
Oh, yay. That sounds like fun.
And then once you get done with that, we need to make 2 different sand art projects.
Ooh.
So I was thinking we could do some sand in a glass bottle, like a recycled bottle.
Okay.
That would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then we could also do a picture with some sand.
Ooh, that sounds like fun too.
Doesn't that sound really
Yes.
fun? So whatever your sand projects are, I want to see them.
I would love to show them to you. How do I do that?
So we're gonna put them on Google Classroom so we can see them.
Oh, okay, I can do that.
Does that sound fun?
I might need my mom's help, but I think she could do it.
I'm hoping she can. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So that's what we're off to do now.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.